Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. Here we are over in the 1.7 area. It is nice to be back over here. It's been quite some time and a lot has been going on around here lately. There's been some murdering, there's been some wars between different shops and all kinds of things that I've been missing out on. And when I was first over here, doing things like the horse project and setting up the commercial area, there wasn't a lot of other people who've moved over to this area yet, and I kind of feel like I'm missing out on all the fun that's going on. So I think what we should be doing is perhaps spending one of our 2 episodes that we have a week over here in the 1.7 area, and then the other one will be back over at the Wastelands. But I definitely want to get involved with all the things that are going on. But first of all, I have to tell you that we have a new member on the server, although he was actually added quite some time ago. It was Maryland, and when we invited him onto the server, he was actually really busy at the time. And a pleasant surprise the other day, he popped on and now he's back on the server making some videos. So if you're interested in seeing his first episode, there'll be a link in the description box. That was a tour with me and King Daddy DMAC around the old hermit town and the new one as well. And this is where he's going to be building his house. This, I'm sure, is just a small little hermit hut to get him going. And I especially like this thing down here. It's just a ladder that leads to a cozy little hole for standing in and thinking about what you've been up to. I don't know. I thought that was funny. I'm sure he's going to build something down there. Anyway, I need to inform you about the Abba caving tournament. I have been knocked out of that by Hypno, and I came over here to set up the next round, but it seems like the other hermits have already done this. So let's have a look at who's going to be in the next round. We have Red Eyes versus Slipgator, and then in the other match it's DMAC versus Hypno, which are going to be 2 very exciting matches in the semi-final. And then after that there's one more match and it's all over. But if you are interested in seeing any of the matches from this round here, including the one where I got knocked out to Hypno, there'll be links down in the description box down below for you if you're interested in seeing them. But anyway, let's go and have a look and see how much loot there is, because there's an awful lot in that chest. And I'm sure you all want to know how much the winner's going to be taking away, considering that there's another 3 matches to go, so there'll be more goodies going into this bag. And I don't think we're going to be rebalancing the points again. The current system that we have is fine. But let's have a look. Absolutely loads of diamonds. The emerald ore, that is a lot of emerald ore as well. So whoever's taking this home is going to be very happy. Tons of redstone, just absolutely loads of stuff. And then all of this iron is probably more like a burden to carry all of that back to your base, because we got an iron farm. We don't really need all of that, do we? But anyway, moving on. I recorded the last episode before this one, so when you watch that, there's probably going to be a few things that will make sense now that I've said that. The reason that I'm doing that is just because I have a limited time in which to record the episode that goes out on the weekend, and then I record the one for Tuesday immediately after. And because I wanted to do something in this area, I didn't want it to all be out of sync. You see what I've built in other people's episodes, so I decided to record the other one first, and that'll make sense when you watch it, because I did actually come over here to this area. One of the places that I visited was Zombie Cleo's copying ink, I think it is now called, and I picked up a copy of the other Hermiton Herald, and I'm not going to read this on camera because I am terrible at it, and I've already got my copy of this back at my base. But there's one thing that I want to point out to you in here. So let's go to the back of the book, and if I didn't mention it already, I'm terrible at reading this stuff, but anyway, this is the bit we're looking at. So, murder at Quarterpipe Point. A massive explosion rocked the city of New Hermiton, and 1 dead body was pulled from the wreckage. Pungence later swore... I'm not reading this correctly. Pungence later swore vengeance on Schism, notably involving Ninja Turtles. The lawless nature of this town was noted by Xisuma, who swore to consider doing something about it. That creased me up the first time I read that. Swore to consider. I mean, that's not even anything, is it? And yes, I said that I was interested in bringing some justice to Hermitcraft. Not exactly in those words, but I want to build a courthouse because there are things going on the server that need to be sorted out, like the war between the 2 shops over here, Biffa's Bakery and Muse's Meats, and other things that are going on. And I think a courthouse will help us, get together and sort out our problems. Now, the location of this courthouse, I'm not actually sure where it's going to be yet. I'm thinking about somewhere over in this area, or possibly where we started up next to Marilyn's house, but I think I'm going to have to spend some time to make sure that I pick the right location. And that is certainly what I have done. It's been quite some time. I've been going around checking out lots of different places, and there were a few places that seemed fairly good, but there were always obstacles in the way. Now, one of those places is right here. Imagine that you're standing on this path looking in that direction. You got a nice courthouse, you got the towers in the background. It's practically perfect. The only problem is it's going to be a real squeeze with this hill. Now I figured out if I were to remove this hill, it would come right up to the edge on this side, and it would go all the way back to about here, which means it kind of cuts into this pathway over here. And actually, now that I've looked at it again, I really want to double check that and just make sure that it is a place we can build, because if it is, I'd rather build it there. But I also noticed this as well. There's actually a little shop down here, and it's a very nice looking shop. I don't think it's fully finished, but I love this interface right here. I think if you right click on the dispenser or dropper behind it, you'll be able to see how many ingredients are in there. That's pretty cool. A nice little potion brewer, and I think this was made by Biffa, because it mentions his name here. Anyway, let's go outside, and I will double check that, but the place that I decided I want to build this is just over here. Now this place kind of feels like a natural path round to the next area, and then maybe you could build things on either side of, say, a path that went right through the middle here. However, if we were to level this out, bring it all to this kind of level here that I'm pointing at, then we could fit a courthouse right on top of that. And then when you're standing down here at the bottom and you're looking up at the courthouse, you've got a mountain on the right, a mountain on the left, some trees, and there is actually a really nice house up here. Now this path goes alongside the courthouse, which might be a good thing, because then it might be able to go round the back, because all of this mountainous area around here, we discussed it quite some time ago before we ever came over to this 1.7 area, and we liked it because we could build paths out to the different flat areas that are around the mountains, and we want to kind of keep that going. So from here I think it would be pretty easy to then have a path that perhaps goes round the back of the courthouse building, because it will probably come up to around here somewhere, and then you could have a path going through this area leading over to there. So I feel like it's a good fit for, you know, what we want on the server, and and for the courthouse itself as well. So in these two chests I have all of the things we need to build the courthouse. Let's have a look. There is a ton of clay in here, and when I was at my base getting all of this stuff prepared, I was thinking, do you know what, we're going to go through all of my blaze rods on this clay, and then I remembered that over in this area we have the community foundry, which is going to be very useful because we can smelt all of that clay into bricks to make bricks and we can save ourselves some blaze rods. But you may be wondering, how is it that I know exactly what we need to build this? Yet again, I've been playing on my server in creative mode. I absolutely love it. If you want to be a builder, if you want to get good at building, play in creative mode. Forget survival, it's too slow and tedious. Creative mode is wonderful. You can build something up, see what you think of it, fly around it, you know, see it from different perspectives, and then rip it down and try again. And so doing that, I've come up with a really nice look for this courthouse. I'm very pleased with what I've come up with, and I've also had help from another fantastic builder on the server called All-in-One, and he's been helping me throw some extra details into this building, and that's something that I want to kind of show you. I want to show you where I was at with this building and how he came and helped it make that little bit extra special, because it is going to be a really awesome building and I'm really looking forward to it. But where we actually need to head right now is just over to Keralis' area, because in his episode he very kindly asked for some diamond armor, because, you know, Keralis is a bit of a newbie with the whole fighting mobs and stuff, and so I thought I'd help him out and give him some armor to repair his current armor with. So we are going to throw an ender pearl over there just so we can see his area from the front. I came over here the other day and this place is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, Keralis is known for his building, right? But time and time again he just does it. It's just so easy for him. And let's go inside and have a little look. I don't really want to spend too much time here, you know, but just look at all the things that are going on. This place is absolutely gorgeous, and it's all in survival as well. Now, one of the things that I'm impressed with on my server is when people use the micro blocks to add detail. I mean, you can add so much with those, but he's done all of this in just survival, and I love it. There's no micro blocks, and yet it's still absolutely fantastic. Anyway, I want to show you the back of this area as well. Somewhere around here there is a way to get into his back garden, which is again gorgeous. What else would you expect? I think it's just over here. There we go, some hatch doors. So have a look at that. That is a wonderful garden right there. I think that looks lovely. He has done a fantastic job. Look at this place. Ah, it's so cool. Such an inspiration. Anyway, let's go around to the front and leave him this armor. I'm going to put a trap chest out the front. I don't have a sign on me. I didn't really think about that, so he'll probably know who it's from. Where should we leave it? Just here, in the driveway, in front of his car. There we go. So some diamonds for him. Well, some diamond armor for him to repair his diamond armor with the enchantments on. All of that good stuff. And I think there's something else we need to do. No, that's about it. So I guess I should start building the courthouse. When I made a little bit of progress, we'll start talking about that. So, no courthouse yet, but I have made a little bit of progress just doing some terraforming, figuring out where this is going to go. So this level right here is where the floor is going to be. Now I was going to fill in all of this central bit, but I thought I'd build the building around the outside and then we can deal with that later. So out on this level is where I'm going to fill in all of the dirt like that. But I've actually run out, as you can see. I've only got a stack and a bit left. And so that is going to match up with this height over here. So this bit where we have the dirt going around the outside, that is going to be the wall. There's going to be a 2-high wall that then the courthouse sits on top of, and it's going to look real good. Although I might make that just 1 high, because this is already looking quite high, and the more we elevate it, I think the stranger it could be. But then again, once we fill in all these bits around the outside, it might look a little bit better. I don't know, but that's roughly how big it's going to be. I think it fits nicely into this area. You can kind of get a good idea of how big this structure is going to be. And I also like how this isn't too close. You know, this is the closest bit right here. There is going to be some windows on the side, but most of them will be able to see something, not just a hill in the side of it. And then there's plenty of space around the back to go off into this area. But let's throw an ender pearl up the top there to that tree. Just have a look from up here. You can see it's going to be a fairly big structure. So the foundation of our courthouse is in place, and this is a few blocks further back than where we put that dirt outline. The reason why is because these steps at the front, they were going to be ever so close to the edge here, and then it's a quite steep gradient going down. So I thought if we move it back a little bit, that'll give us a little more flexibility when we hook up a path to the entrance for this place. But there is another thing that I didn't really consider when I was putting down that dirt, is that the windows don't actually start until a few blocks further up. So you've got 2 blocks at the bottom. We're going to have another block here, and then the window is going to be above that. So I think that means at no point is the window really going to be facing, you know, into a whole bunch of dirt. Maybe on that side the only thing you're going to be able to see is the side of the mountain, but it should be alright. And there's also these little indents. That's where we're going to have some bigger windows on either side. So before we build the next part, we need to do some smelting, because we have a load of clay we need to turn into bricks. And this is going to take a bit of time. But I'll tell you what, getting all of this clay together was a little bit crazy, because I had loads of blocks of clay stored up and I had to place them all down and then break them so we could smelt this into bricks. But when I came over here, it looks like people have been using this. There are lots of items in the chests down the bottom. So I cleared this chest over here, put a sign on it saying finish smelting. And you can see someone has been smelting up some bricks and stone and other things as well. But anyway, let's put our clay into all of these chests. So while that clay is smelting, I have built the front of this building. Now pretty much everything else we're going to be building here is made out of bricks and stone slabs. So this is the only thing that's different. We got some red stained clay and some quartz pillars, and I spent a lot of time googling images of courthouses, and most of them had these pillars at the front, and most of them were fairly white buildings as well. So I originally started doing stuff with quartz, which looked alright. But it would have made it very expensive, and so even though I was playing in creative mode, I had to consider that this was going to be built in survival. And it wasn't until I put the bricks with the quartz pillars in front that it looked really good, because I tried doing the pillars with other materials, and when you've got a texture like this that is a pillar, a column block, it's just hard to not use it. And so the bricks behind that is going to look really good, which we're going to do in a moment. But I can point out the first detail that All-in-One added to this build. At the top here you can see there is a half slab above the pillar, and it's small little details like that. You know, instead of having the pillars go all the way up into the block above, just having a half slab there to cut it off, they really add to the whole thing. And I know that's like just a very small example, but you're going to see more when I start building the structure behind this. So there it is, you can see the wall. It is missing something very important though. And that is the bit that connects it to the ceiling. So the ceiling is going to be a ridge that goes around the outside, and then we're going to have some stone bricks that kind of alternate patterns and connect it to that ceiling. And that's going to make a big difference to this. But you can kind of see where I've started out. We got these stone bricks, or sorry, the regular bricks behind the quartz pillars, which I think looks really good. Then we have some stone bricks at the top, and we got our black stained glass. But this is where All-in-One came along and started adding detail to this build. Now what he's done is he's added bits of shape, and that is the key word here. You've got a flat wall, and what you want to do to make it look more interesting is add shape. So some of the things that he did is putting the stone bricks like this behind the pillars, so you don't always see it, but when you do, it adds a little bit of variety and shape to it. But the thing that I really like is that you put the stone bricks on the outside here. Now we already had stone bricks at the top as a part of the theme for this building, but then he put in the stone on the outside and then connected it using the stone bricks and the stairs like this. And because he's used stairs, it just adds that little indent. It kind of crosses over the two together so you don't have a flat wall, and it brings shape, which I really like. Bringing shape to the flat wall is the thing that you want to do. Now I also started out with black stained glass, the full blocks, and then I noticed that he changed them over at some point. I think it was when I wasn't online, to the panes, and the panes actually work a lot better. They are slightly lighter for some reason. They just tend to look lighter, but they bring shape again because they, you know, create that indent and that offset, which is really nice. And a few other things he's done as well, putting in the stone bricks at the bottom. But I have some anvils with me. This is another thing he started using with building, and I loved it. And at first I was like, wait, this has got to be survival friendly, but then I was like, wait, this is Hermitcraft. We have an iron farm, and so we can use anvils for decoration. And so adding that on the side creates a really nice kind of banister feel that, you know, separates the ridge that goes around the outside from the entrance, and I really like that. And I decided to use the anvils as well elsewhere in the build, which we will see in a bit. But there we go, that's what the front looks like. We are now going to add the ceiling, the stone bricks that connect it to the stone slabs, and that is going to make a world of difference. Now look at that, that is wonderful. What did I say? A world of difference. Oh, I'm so pleased with how this looks. And this is just the front, by the way. The sides are going to look good as well. The back is still a little bit unfinished, actually. We kind of have a big window at the back where I haven't really done much with that yet. But yeah, this is really coming together. So you can see we have the ridge that goes around the outside. It's actually kind of a double ridge because you've got the stone slab on the inside there. And that just really, I think, really works ever so well. So you get a bit of extra shape from these stone bricks. This is something that I originally added to try and take away from the flatness of the wall, but I just love the way it matches up with the ceiling. You know, your ridge is a little bit higher just by a half slab, so you have that extra bit on the inside there, and I think that just makes a world of difference. So I was just thinking, I know some of you like to see a little bit of building on camera. We don't do that a lot, and I really need to make the effort to do it a little bit more, because I know it's kind of cool to see people build on camera sometimes, but really what I'm doing is I'm kind of copying what's on my other screen. So I've got the creative world on there, and I can just kind of look at what's going on here. So the next thing I need to do is add 2 stair blocks, one that goes one over, so it's going to be there and then there. And one of the things I've been doing when I've been going around building this, and you can see if you just follow the line here, the way it goes up and down, is I've been using half slabs to save resources. So here we're not going to be able to see the top half of the block, so we'll put in the bottom one like that, which saves a little bit of materials. And if you do that for the whole build, you'll actually save a few blocks, which is probably a good idea. I mean, why not, eh? Anyway, we're going to have 2 of these windows here. So the other one, what are we putting here now? We're putting full blocks, 2 full blocks, then another half slab because we're going to have stairs again. And then we're going to put in those panes. And then the bricks are going to go down the side. Come on. Kind of awkward placing it on the side of that. There we go. So there'll be more stairs at the top there, and now we need to add some details to this because it's fairly bland and flat at the moment. So one of the things I added in was the hatches. That seemed a pretty obvious thing to do, so I've got a few of those. And the other thing we need is some green carpet. Excellent. And we're going to use some anvils as well. So what I decided to do was put green carpet on top of the anvils, because one of the things that looks good outside a window is to have a couple of blocks of grass and then put some signs around the outside or something like that. So it's like a hanging box for flowers, but there wasn't really room to do that here, or at least it didn't really look right with this ridge directly underneath where you'd put that. So what All-in-One done was put down some of these anvils like this, and then I decided to put the green carpet on top of it, which I think looks pretty cool. But I'm still not 100% sure about that. It's a nice little detail, and it adds an extra bit of colour to this structure. But I guess you guys can let me know. Leave a comment down below if you like the green, or should we change it, or should we try something different here? Because that looks good, but I don't know. I feel like maybe there's another thing that we need here. And I realised that I've just built these windows incorrectly. Let's remove those because... Actually, I do have my shears. Let me go grab my shears. So, good old silk touch shears mean we don't have to lose these bits of glass, but just let's stand back and have a look at that. It looks alright. Now we're going to jump in and remove the top ones because I've actually built it incorrectly. We need to put some stone bricks at the top here, stone brick stairs. This is a detail that All-in-One likes to throw in with the windows, which I really like. There we go. And it looks a lot better actually with the panes, because as I said, I did originally build this with the full blocks, but then he changed it to panes and it looks so much better. Right, let's go back and have a look. And that makes a huge difference if you ask me. I do think that looks a heck of a lot better. So we are about to build the window next, the big window that is. This one's going to be a lot bigger. And then I noticed something. There's a little change that I might want to make here. Now the place you can notice it the most is just on this edge bit right here. The stone bricks and the brick stairs, they kind of alternate and it looks good, but then at the top here you have a brick slab right there, and I'm not sure that's really the best thing for it, and no one will probably ever notice that this has been changed or is different in any way. And let's get that slab back. But if we change it to stone brick, I think, yeah, that does look a lot better. That makes a lot more sense to me. And there's another time you see it over here, which is this bit as well. Can we place some stone brick, some cobble even, and change this one as well? Let's grab that and put that there. And again, do you know what? I think that works. I think it looks a lot better with stone brick slabs at the top. So from now on we're going to be doing that. That definitely works. So jump forward in time and this thing is finished, or at least the walls around the outside are. Let's go around and have a look. I've actually gone around this a couple of times just to check that everything is done, which it is. So that's what that wall looks like. I think this is where I last recorded somewhere around here. Now the wall at the back has a big window and it's a little bit plain, but I think it actually looks good. And you can see, I think it kind of breaks up the amount of detail that's going along these sides, because it kind of wraps around the back here, and then you've got this nice big plain window which I think actually fits in pretty well. So the other wall on this side over here is the same thing, it's just mirrored from the other side. So let's go around and see that. Looks pretty cool, and from inside the views outside the windows aren't too bad as well, which I like. But I thought I wouldn't have too much time to do much more than the building itself this episode, but it's looking like once we get the roof done I will have a little bit of time to do some stuff around the outside, like some terraforming, planting down some trees and stuff like that, and then in another episode we'll come back to the inside and furbish all of this. But let's have a look out the window. You can see the ice tower, that's pretty cool. And over here, one of these windows you can see the other building that's popped up over there, and I have no idea whose that is, and I do watch the other Hermitcrafters videos, but I don't know whose that is yet, so I guess we'll be finding out soon. And this window at the back has an alright view, I think. I mean, that's pretty cool, but if there were some buildings on the hill or in the background, I reckon that could look a lot better. And then over on this side you just kind of got a view of the side of the mountain, which actually isn't too bad. And I think this has turned out pretty well. Anyway, the next thing we need to build is the roof. There is a little bit to talk about with that, just some glowstone and a trick that I came up with when I was building. Actually, I think probably other people have done it before. In fact, it's probably not really a trick, but I'll show you that when we get up there. So the sun is going down, and I was just thinking we'll wait until it's gone down, we'll hop into the bed and then we'll record. However, it being night time is actually a good thing, because I can show you what's going on with the roof here. So this is what the roof is going to look like. We're going to make it all out of one material. It's really not about it being pretty, because you're mostly going to be seeing it from down below, so you're just seeing the edges here. Now this edge is on a half block, so that is the top right there of a normal block, so no mobs can spawn on that and no mobs can spawn on this bit. However, what I wanted to do is keep the shape that we have at the front here going around like this, back into the space of the building a little bit, and so it means that every other row of these slabs mobs are able to spawn on, and that would be this row and that one there. So the thing that I'm going to do, you might be able to figure it out just by looking at my hotbar, but it's to put down some glowstone and then to put some carpet on top of it. So we get our light, we put down the carpet, the light goes straight through it. Now if I've picked the best distance to put these from each other, I don't know, but let's have a look at the block light levels. So 11, 12, 10, so right there is where the mob can spawn. So maybe I could have spaced it out a little bit more, but I don't mind using extra glowstone. All we're going to do is put them in a grid that covers around this area where they could possibly spawn. What's it like over here? That's an 8, a 9, and then it goes back up to a 9. That's good. That should be the same over here as well, because you can see there's 3 blocks and there's 3 blocks between each of these. And so I just put down cobblestone as a placeholder for the glowstone, but then if we do a few of these and have a look from down below, you can't really see, you know, too much of the glowstone or the carpet on top really, for that matter, but it's a nice little thing to do, just add the carpet on top, because then if you do get a glimpse of it, it looks more like the ceiling and not like some lighting has been placed down. But there you go. And another thing that you could actually do is if you had it level with the ground, like down here, when you put the carpet on top, then the glowstone wouldn't be visible at all and the light would still shine through, which is pretty cool. And the rest of this, by the way, is just going to be these slabs. Now, I did have another piece of glowstone and carpet over here in the creative world build, but what we'll do is a little check. So this height here, it means these are the blocks that they could possibly spawn on, and the block height is 8, 7 and 5 over here, and I think they can spawn up there as well. So we've got a 3 and a 7, so let's put in that extra bit of glowstone. And what does this one become? It is a 7. I can't remember if it's 7 or 8. I think it's 8 you need to have to stop them spawning. I guess someone in the comments will let me know. Is it a 7 or is it an 8 that we need? I think it might be a 7. Who knows? 7's always the number that people talk about, but I think it's 7 is when mobs can spawn, or possibly 7 is when like the lowest level that they can't, if that makes sense. I think it does. Anyway, I'll finish doing the ceiling. So the inspiration has kind of hit me, and I've got a little carried away doing something that wasn't originally the plan. So what I was going to do is to put some plants around the outside of this building and some trees, which I have done on this side, but then I got carried away with this idea of building this little structure here, which is going to be quite like in real life, where you have those barriers that hold back the land. So there was a slope here, we've carved away the bit at the bottom, and then to stop all of the land falling down into this space, we've built this barrier, and that's what it's going to look like. Now at the moment it's not finished, and I just realised the next bit is going to be quite time consuming, because I have to go around and harvest a whole bunch of trees, because I want to put in a bunch of stair blocks for the different wood types. Now we're going to be mixing up the different ones just so it looks a little varied and a bit more natural, but they're going to be going in an L shape like that, so the flat side will be on the top, and we'll do that going all the way up, and then it will look like a decent barrier, I think. And you'll also be able to see a little bit of cobblestone at the bottom. Now what I like about this is it kind of breaks up the way you get up to the courthouse. We were just going to have a path that comes around the front, but now it feels like this place has a proper garden area in front of it, which is something that I think I'm going to work on in between episodes. And then the path is now closer to the gravel one over there, so you just go down these steps and then the gravel path will come and connect over here, which is pretty cool. And it also gives someone the opportunity to build something here as well, I think. You know, if someone's looking for a small shop or something they want to do, then there's a nice area of flat land just here that's next to the path as well. But I think that wraps things up this episode with the courthouse. We have one more little job to do, and I think next time when we come back to working on this, hopefully I would have finished this and been able to have built a nice garden up the top here, which we can talk about. But for now, I'd say this is finished, and I'm going to throw down some torches just because, yeah, those guys. And they're spawning inside the courthouse, which isn't good. But as I said, we have one little job to do. So we can see here from the green wall that is underneath the mailbox, it's actually lime wool, I think the game calls it. Anyway, we have mail, and I also noticed that my grey wool has gone missing from here, which is a little bit strange, so I have to grab another one of those. We have a block of diamond and a sand request, so let's have a look right here. Dear Xisuma, I'm in the market for sand. Enclosed is 1 diamond block. Please deliver to me however much you think that's worth. I trust your judgment. Hugs and kisses, Spumwhack. So, he's after some sand, and I was thinking about changing the price of the sand that I have recently, but then I thought, do you know what? I'll just keep it how it is. I'm just being a little bit greedy. I get like that with diamonds. Whenever diamonds are involved, I'm looking to make a bargain. I mean, these blocks are awesome. How could you not love them? They are precious. So we're going to keep the price the same for now, but one thing I think I will do is take a diamond for delivery. So that's 9 diamonds right there, and I sell 12 stacks of, yeah, I think it's 12 stacks of sand for a diamond each. So in total that is, I think, 96. So we're going to bring him 96 stacks of sand, and then we'll take a diamond for the delivery cost, because I'm going to have to take a couple of trips back and forth, which is what I'm going to do right now. Then I'm probably going to be able to continue doing some work on the courthouse, which I'll be showing you in the next episode where we're back over here in the 1.7 area. But that is it for this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do remember to leave a like. It will always be appreciated. And thanks for watching. I will catch you next time.